Hi gorgeous, welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina, and for today's video we're going to be talking about how Pop the Balloon has failed the Black community. Pop the Balloon, if you're unfamiliar, is a popular YouTube series where a line of women and men, one person gets to ask the row of people a series of questions, and if they're in alignment they move on to the next level. If not, then they pop their balloon. The game still continues until all the balloons are popped, or one balloon is last standing and the person and the single get to stand side by side next to the host, and they get to decide in another series of questions if this is actually a couple that they want to stay in. I know people like to sensationalize it and make it seem like it's more than the norm, but personally I feel like it's just another rendition of speed dating, which is completely normal. I think it's not the game itself that's harmful to the Black community and that's failing it. I think it's the actual culture that's built around Pop the Balloon that's actually harming the Black community and failing it. For instance, I'm all about intimacy, and in a relationship you should definitely look for intimacy. Intimacy is not to be confused with lust or intense sexual energy. It can be things that are just warming to your heart, maybe some soft touches, some hand holding, or even just the environment. I feel like Pop the Balloon makes a huge mistake in this regard of making speed dating for Black people so unsettling. It's a white room, it's awkward, there's no music, and quite frankly, I don't feel like it's built to be a romantic environment. I don't think it entices people to go on the show for the right reasons, which is why we have all of these insane viral moments that people kiki and giggle over.
Mozzie, mic up.
Mozzie.
Okay, and Mozzie, how old are you?
I'm 38.
And what do you do?
I own a trucking company and a car wash.
Okay, very cool. So what are some things you like to do for fun?
Travel, book private jets, yachts, and pop bottles in clubs.
Okay.
Even though in actuality it's causing harm to our community. As I was watching it, this is my first time watching Pop the Balloon ever. Oh, I can't do it. After watching it, I felt unsettled because I'm just like, okay, where is the atmosphere? Why does it feel like this is more of a reality show, or this is more of a sensationalized version of, or maybe an imitation of a dating show? And it's simply because when you see speed dating, it's normally done in like a restaurant. It's in a gathering area so people can communicate, but in this particular setting it's an awkward angle with a brown wall, and like I said, it's just stark white, bright white light, and everyone is not dressed for the occasion. You have some people who are dressed casual, some who are dressed formal, some who are dressed in club attire, and I don't really understand the angle as to why this would be enticing for anyone to want to date each other. So I'm also comparing this to just regular dating in general in the Black community. So if so many people are looking for ways to date other Black people, why would we show them that we're not respected, or we're not worthy enough to have an environment to nourish our relationship? Black people are already sensationalized. We're already used to cause mass chaos in the media. So to have a show like this, I don't feel like it contributes well to the community. The people they invite on seem very intentional. There's troublemakers, there's comedians. I don't mean like these are their actual jobs. This is just the archetypes that I've noticed on the show. I do feel like the host contributes to this feeling of just unsettlingness of the environment because she doesn't guide the singles to make them feel safe. It almost feels like she puts them out there and they're stranded. So for instance, there was a single that was pretty reserved. She asked him, okay, what do you want to ask the girls? And he's like struggling. So instead of her being like, oh, okay, here, maybe I can give you a suggestion of a question to ask them, or maybe even have preset questions, because people don't really have the confidence that she does to be on camera and to have all these harsh lights on the person, and the line of people are now also staring at you expectantly with these balloons. There's so much pressure, and it creates an environment of panic, and it facilitates this negative energy that I don't feel like is setting these singles up for romance.
All right, so we do still have 4 unpopped balloons. Go ahead and ask our ladies another question.
Another question. It would be, brain just disappeared.
Okay. I also want to note that the host doesn't feel like she's actually hoping to get two people together. Now, the reason why I say this is because she is at the heart of what makes it also uncomfortable. And it almost gives you secondhand embarrassment because when as I said, the contestant that was really shy, she noted that people were not feeling his shy vibe, and I feel like she kind of nerfed him because a lot of the girls popped his balloon for being a shy and reserved guy, even though he's just like, hey, I don't feel comfortable.
So I like a man that kind of owns the room a little bit. He just seems a little nervous. I don't know.
I am a little nervous
You are
at
nervous?
cameras. I'm first time in this setting environment, but I'm trying to work through my nerves as
Oh, yeah, I
we
understand.
keep talking.
I get it.
And to me, as a journalist, as somebody with a degree, I don't feel like she did her best that she could in making the environment safe for everyone. If the person that you're with is telling you, I don't feel comfortable because of X, Y, and Z, now you need to take a step back quickly in your mind. How can I make this a safe environment? Okay, the person is saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable because of all the cameras. Obviously, you can't do nothing about the cameras, but maybe offer some sort of support. How can I help you? Something that helps the person feel like they can be on the show and actively find love. I definitely feel like, as I said, she left him stranded. And it wasn't fair, especially given that it was his first time. And I'm not blaming any of the women who are just not happy about him being soft-spoken, because I definitely feel like appearances or how you present yourself is everything. But I definitely feel like not everyone gets to show their best self immediately because of how much pressure and stress that they could be under. We should help these people who feel like they can't show themselves completely. We should definitely meet them where they are so that we can see the best of them. And I think that was the message that was screaming out to me, that we're not trying to be a community and helping one another, especially on this dating show. Because at the end of the day, you want to find love, but how can you find love if there's all this pressure? I also want to note the tension. The tension. Now, as I just got finished saying, the show does not have an environment that is comfortable. It feels very over the top. It feels overwhelming, to say the least. But the tension in how people accept rejection is, it's almost like deafening, if you will. Now, the reason why I say this is because the women, while they can take rejection, the way that they give rejection was very concerning. And I don't feel like Pop the Balloon is what's failing the community. I think it's the environment that it creates and the people that are brought on. It all just feeds into this nasty cycle that fails the community. The women just kind of say little things like, oh, his pants are too tight.
Popping my balloon because I see you got it on, but I just don't like the way you put it on. For sure. So
Okay. What don't you like about it?
the jeans,
No,
they're too tight.
Okay.
That's just me being honest. But your career is very interesting. You seem like you know what you're talking about. So yeah, but I just can't. I can't get past jeans.
And the way that he's speaking is sassy, and I'm just like, these are all subtle homophobic comments. While it's not outright, calling the guy gay, it's little things like that that we also struggle with in the Black community, with unfortunately Black women being homophobic to Black men, and they weaponize gayness to get their point across that they're uncomfortable with something instead of just saying it how it is. I personally do not agree with that. So I feel like when we invite statements like that on the show, it is not setting a good precedent for people who are watching, because I'm also presuming that these are young people in their early 20s. And there's a way to communicate that something is not your style or your preference without having to belittle a whole sexuality of people, and without having to belittle a person by subtly calling them gay because you're uncomfortable. So that's an issue that I noted with the women and how they handled rejection. But the men, I also noticed that they handle rejection maybe not as subtly. And that in itself caused me great discomfort when I was watching. Now, the men, the way that they decided to take rejection was to essentially, I want to say, lick their wounds. They would either say, okay, well, she's not my type anyway, and I don't really like her, and I don't really like what she's wearing.
Okay.
And I don't like men that argue with women. All that going back and forth is crazy.
Okay. No problem. Okay.
Is she someone that's your type?
She's nice. She'll catch. But then again, she's a girl's girl.
Keep
You'll
it
follow her.
cute. Keep it
You'll
cute.
follow her, love.
Keep it cute,
You
buddy.
worrying about what I'm telling the next woman, you'll follow her.
Here you go, argue
Worry
with
about
women
what I tell
again.
you.
That's
It's really
crazy.
not about being argumentative. It's about really letting you women know what's the deal on a national television show, YouTube.
We're not
right?
interested. It's okay.
It's all
Just
good.
take
You
it
don't
to
have
the
to be
chin.
interested,
Move
but you're
on.
going to listen to what I got to tell you.
It's that type of defensiveness that often cause other women to pop their balloons, because they're just like, okay, the way that you are treating this woman, how do I now know that you won't treat me like that? So now we're also again showcasing that in the Black community, it's okay to speak to women that way, especially if you feel hurt. You should be able to take that rejection to the chin and just be like, okay, yeah, that's not, you don't want me, that's cool. I'm not saying obviously be someone that you aren't and to accept disrespect in any way, shape, or form, but I am saying that there's a way that you can say something the way that you shouldn't. How you speak to someone will also dictate how love is given to you or revoked from you in this particular situation. So again, when the host allows these things to happen, she plays it up. So now the situation has now 10 times worse than what it actually should have been. Now we have a whole viral moment of a guy dissing this girl, being absolutely disrespectful to Black women for laughs and giggles. And that to me is not protecting Black women. And as I said with the homophobic comments, that's not protecting Black men. The last thing that I want to talk about in terms of intimacy is the lack of yearning. Maybe our generation of people don't remember how to yearn, or they don't know it from their elders or ancestors of what yearning is and how it truly impacts our community and our relationships. But you can listen to R&B music, because that's what it used to be. It used to be teaching us how to yearn for one another, literally, as nasty as it sounds, drinking your bath water, as a lot of R&B men used to say, or a lot of R&B women when they would just be like, being with you, I feel like I lose all the breath in my body, or just feeling like you're on top of the world, that you're walking on clouds with your person. But nowadays, especially in Pop the Balloon, I noticed that is an absence of love or just absence of passion. The connections just don't feel genuine to me. It's almost secondhand embarrassment, because when people pop the balloon, the host, as a humiliation ritual, from what it feels like, walks you through it.
I'm from Indiana, but I live in LA.
Okay. And what do you do?
I work for HR in a transportation company.
Okay. And what are some things you like to do for fun?
I like
Jeez. Oh.
And why did you end up popping your balloon?
I'm just not physically attracted. I like a woman a little bit more fit.
Just the initial attraction.
Just physical attraction.
Absolutely disgusting, by the way. I almost puked, but let me stay focused.
And it could either be something that's dehumanizing, or it could be something that's, actually pretty considerate. Like, okay, well, maybe our lifestyles don't align, or maybe I'm not comfortable with how far you live, like little things like that. Why are we still asking questions if this person popped the balloon? A simple, why'd you pop it? Great, cool, move along. And I just feel like it rubs salt on the wound, and it's so awkward and embarrassing. And now it's like they're just giving leftovers, because literally there's people left over. So again, they keep popping the balloons until it's maybe down to like 2 people, and now the person's given the opportunity to choose between those 2 people. This is where things get tricky, because it almost feels like to me that the person is settling, because now you can't have one-on-one time with these people. Now you're put on front line and center. Hey, who do you want? You choose the person, and I just feel like the people in the line, it kind of makes you feel like you're a last resort. And I kind of experienced that with one of the episodes where there was one girl and the host walked the person over and was just like, hey, is this girl somebody that you want? And he's like, yeah. But it's like, of course, you're going to choose this girl because she chose you. And in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, finding love is great, but it doesn't feel like a sincere connection. It feels like that's the only connection that's being offered to you. So you're just taking it just because. And that in itself is not love. I personally don't have any updates on how if these people are still together. I doubt it, but that's what I mean. What are we actually showing our community? That's one of my other big problems with this show, or how the show facilitates love, is because it's showing you that you can only have what's given to you, and that's just not true. Please don't settle. And that should, to me, that should be the overarching point. But now it's going to teach a lot of people that they should be settling because this is all that you have. Now let's talk about the immaturity, irresponsible adults. I was watching an episode and the one single was a guy, and they asked him, how many kids do you have? He says 1. They said, how old is that kid? He said 1. Yes, you heard me. He said 1.
Baby, you got to go to hell, okay? Like, the faster you do it, the better off everybody involved is going to be. So
why would you go on a dating show when you have a 1-year-old? Because the rule is that if they're under 5, they're still in love. And there's a possibility that you're still dipping and dabbing. And it's like, why are you, and that's also just an ick, like, why are you not focused on being a parent? Why are you on this dating show? So, again, the type of people that are being brought on are facilitating an environment that is not healthy, and it's failing us. You should be home taking care of your 1-year-old. Then there's also just people who are over 30 talking about all they do is smoke hookah and they party and clubbing. And it's like, after a certain point in your life, and again, I'm not the club police. I definitely feel like you should do whatever you want to do. But if you're trying to find love, that type of lifestyle is not going to hold up unless that person's also into that. But from what I saw, a lot of the people wanted just, I feel like the age differences was present. This is my issue with dating shows in general. You shouldn't have 20-year-olds mixed in with 30-something years old, because the 20-year-olds are talking about, hey, we want to go party.
Your name, how old you are, and why you popped your balloon.
My name is David. I'm 30 years old. And the reason I popped my balloon, because as soon as you walked in, you look gorgeous, you look beautiful. However, she asked you a very important question. She asked you, what are you looking for? And you said, I don't know.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
That's the reason why I said no.
Okay. And now, how old are you again?
22.
22.
I'll be 23 in March.
We want to go club, and that's like, cool, bet, period. Go find somebody who wants to do that too. But then the 30-year-olds, they're also just like, well, I'm done with that life. I want to settle down. I want a wife. I want a husband. I want to do this, that. It's not aligning. And that in itself feels like we're setting each other up for failure. We should be seeking out partners who are on our same level, or seeking out partners who are interested in the things that we are also interested in. Or maybe if not, we're interested in, that we're in alignment, that these are things that we do at our age. Now, I'm not saying that there's an age to do certain things. I am saying that when people get to a certain age, there's certain things that they want to do and certain things that they don't. And you need to be in alignment with that. Another big problem I had with this was the immaturity in how some of the contestants behaved. There was a lot of little moments where people would do things just to get a reaction out of others.
Hey?
Yes.
How old are you?
26.
Where are you from?
She looks like Cali
I
a
live in
little
Dallas, but I'm Nigerian, so.
And what do you do?
I'm a flight attendant.
And I definitely feel like that they were planted there for entertainment. For instance, there was a guy who had a woman that nobody else wanted. It was a plus size girl, and everyone just had an issue with how she looked, whatever. And that's fine. I'm not even mad that people have their preferences, but he liked her. He made it to the end with her. And when she's like, yeah, I want to be with you. And he's like, actually, I don't want to be with you. I want to see what other options I have. Now, inherently, there's nothing wrong with that. You should be able to have options.
I just want to see what else is out there.
You shouldn't have to settle, as I said. But he also ended up doing it again.
And why not?
I just don't think it's gonna be a match that just the overall spark.
It's giving, I feel like I'm on top of the world because the other men said no to her. So I get to humble her when I get to this last stage where they clearly had some sort of chemistry. You still like something about her, but you got the laughs that you wanted, and now you're still single. But, you know, at this point, men perform for other men, and it's very disheartening because I don't even feel like the women were that hard on the men when it was their turn. And it was so disturbing and disgusting because the people in line were laughing. And I'm so happy that the producer stepped in, and I was so shocked. I was genuinely shocked. I was like, uh-oh.
I agree. He played in our entire face this whole episode.
It was unbelievable.
Wait, what?
What am I doing?
No, just go.
All right, well, unfortunately, that's all the balloons pop, but thank you so much for coming on. I'll take the mic. Let's go ahead and give it up for her, guys.
Like, they stopped everything, and they were just like, no, get out. You clearly are playing, you're being disrespectful. We're not here for it. And I'm surprised that even the host was like, you know what? I agree. He's definitely not here for love. He's definitely here to sensationalize the situation. And you know what? I agree. I think this is one of those situations that were done right. But in previous episodes, this was not the case.
I'm a hairstylist and also I'm...
Okay, going over there to see why they ended up popping.
So I feel like while the show is trying to do better, because I watch older episodes compared to new ones, the newer ones are a bit more controlled, and they seem like they're actually trying to be protective and trying to help people find love, even though they still have their issues. But the older ones were definitely disgusting. So I can see the improvement, I can acknowledge the improvement, but the impact is still there. There were still people who laughed about that. There were still people who believed that it is okay to put women through that much distress, even though they weren't even in a relationship, and to humble them. And that was the biggest problem that I have with the show. People get on there to humble other people for a viral moment. So again, I definitely feel like it's the environment that is causing everyone to feel like they don't need to be respectful. Like, you can go on there and you don't have to find love, and you can just take that to the chin. But to get on there and humiliate someone, you're not trying to find love. So the men episodes definitely lean into white supremacy ideals, and it also leans into the fact that in these ideals, they're teaching young men to red pill. The women, they're setting unrealistic standards in romance. It's teaching young girls that you have to choose the highest bidder, even though the highest bidder is not good for you. It's teaching women to settle because this is all that you'll ever have. So pop the balloon is not the problem. It's the environment that it's curated. It's the people that are being brought on. It's the lack of care and support and intention on how the show is being handled. That's the problem. And it's failing the Black community. It's going to continue to fail the Black community because we're going to continue to see these mannerisms happen, these behaviors happen, because this is how the media portrays Black love. Black love as toxic, insecure, shallow, and quite frankly, disgusting. This is why Black dating experience is in shambles, because we are focused on the wrong things and not what is at our root: passion, love, intimacy. Thanks for watching, gorgeous. I really appreciate it. If you want more commentary videos, you can check my commentary playlist. I post very frequently. I also cozy game here and there, and I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. Thank you so much. Bye, gorgeous.